available on digital platforms freshman year, which played at South by Southwest in 2020, where it won a jury prize under its original title, which I cannot repeat on the radio, but is it's a word in which the second part of it is house, and the first part of it rhymes with hit. So let's call it Hit House, but it's now released here as a freshman year. Written and directed by Cooper Raiff, who stars as Alex, who is the titular first-year student, 19 years old, asks himself, why is college so hard? He spends a lot of time calling home to his mum. He's very unhappy. All around him, everyone is drinking and, getting off with each other. And his roommate, Sam, pukes in a bin, soils his trousers while he's lying on the bed. He, on the other hand, talks to his stuffed animal, feels very, full of ennui. One evening, he meets Maggie, who is a sophomore, second year, who is very independently spirited on, the subject of everything, of, sex, friends, romance. She does what she wants. Their paths cross, separate, cross again. They have an awkward fumble in which he says, I think all the blood is in my brain. And then having got that behind them, they then instead go off into the night because she has a turtle that has died, a little turtle. And he says, look, we should bury it. And then it kind of turns into like Before Sunset. The difference being that they have already had the fumbling encounter, sort of. So that's kind of behind them. So they have this day together in which this night together in which they talk, and they sort of, you can see their relationship growing. The next day, however, she completely blanks him when they bump into each other at a store. Here's a clip.
Oh, hey, do you guys sell water bottles?
We don't work here.
Yeah, I mean, I sell jewel pods, but that's all.
Yeah, we don't work here. We go to school with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie.
Hey.
Oh, you guys know each other?
No, we all go to school together. They just said that. Okay. See you.
Yeah. Yikes.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
That was so bad. My heart just dropped out of my butthole just now.
Wait, your heart what?
Why is she playing games? She's playing games with me.
I mean, it doesn't seem like she's playing games. It just seems more like she doesn't want to talk to you. Are you sure? Are you sure that was the girl?
Yeah, that was the girl.
Well, it's just weird. It just seems like she didn't know that you existed.
So it's an odd little film about two people whose kind of worldviews are completely separate. He's very kind of insular, and he thinks that everyone goes to college and switches their brain off. And she says, no, you're getting it wrong. People come to college to discover who they are. The stuff that works best in the film, I think, is that it actually does a very good job of capturing that idea that you're somewhere where everybody should be having a wild and crazy time, but you're not. And, if anyone's listening who's gone, particularly in the year of college that people have had recently with, COVID and everything, I think people will be very acutely aware of how it is perfectly possible to, go away from home and go to this place that you think is going to be fantastic. And then it actually turns out to be very lonely, very isolating, leaves you feeling, depressed and unmoored. And you can't connect with the kind of crazy world that's going on around you in which everybody's saying, yeah, it's like Animal House, we're all partying and getting drunk. I think the other thing that works well is, as I said, the kind of, before sunrise, before sunset. I can always get those two wrong, which one comes first. It's before sunrise, then before sunset, isn't it? Yeah. That idea of just two characters wandering through a kind of nocturnal journey in which their conversation is about nothing, but also about everything. And then the thing that the next morning, the day after, you discover that the thing that you thought was about everything turns out to be nothing. And it gets those emotional beats very, very well. Also, I think it gets the sense of, the parents will understand this, that, that if your kids go away, I've been talking about empty nesting recently, it's impossible not to worry about them. It's impossible not to say, oh, come home. And of course, that isn't the answer. That isn't the answer to anything. So I think, although from the outside it looks like like one kind of comedy, actually it's sort of introspective, and the thing that it gets right is that sense of angst and ennui, and it that sense that somehow you're not in tune with the world, which is so acute when you're 19, 18, 19. I think it gets that stuff right. I think there are other things about it that don't work quite so well, but I think it gets that stuff right. And there is in the center of it a germ of a very interesting idea, which is about that feeling of being on the brink of bursting into tears when everyone around you is partying and carousing like it's 1999, which was something that made sense before 1999.
And that's called
Freshman Year, if that's the title that it's released as.
Yeah, you do wonder who, when someone said, why don't we call this Brick House?
Ow.
What? Yes, exactly. What did they think? What's... Anyway.